Now we're going to start looking at the actual psychology that Holzel and her colleagues were investigating in this really interesting piece of research, which is all about showing evidence that mindfulness or practicing this technique of becoming more aware of oneself in the moment will actually change different structures in the brain, particularly with reference to gray matter, which is where the structures of the brain reside. And this is actually a study that builds on previous research in the same area, which also talks about how mindfulness has increased the volume of brain structures in areas such as the hippocampus or the insula, which we talked about or defined in our previous lesson with our key terms. So now let's talk about the actual psychology that was being investigated. So the first piece here is called localization of function. If you recall from our lesson, which was about a quick overview, I talked about how there's specific areas of the brain that are responsible for performing specific functions. So for instance, when we were talking about the TPJ, we were talking about the temporoparietal junction. We were talking about how the TPJ is responsible for our ability to judge what other people are thinking or feeling, and hence it's related to our theory of mind. Now, in the same way, we talked about the hippocampus and we talked about the insula. The hippocampus is associated with your long-term memory, and it's also associated hence with your learning capacity. The hippocampus is actually linked to a different part of the brain, which is called the amygdala. And the relationship between the amygdala and the hippocampus is such that it is also responsible for emotional regulation, because a lot of our emotional regulation resides in the amygdala, but that's also linked to the hippocampus, because how we feel about things is also determined by what kind of memories we have that are associated to that particular thing in front of us. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that when there are different parts in our brain, and each of those parts, let's say A, B, and C, each of those parts exist in relation to each other, but also perform specific functions. And it is a combination of these different structures of the brain acting together that enable us to exist on a daily basis as thinking, feeling beings.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover at Alt Academy, where we break down every A-level concept with the same clarity. Now back to the video lesson.
Now let's talk about the insula. The insula is responsible for us staying in the moment. It's also how we are able to feel our literal physical self existing in a given space, which is called embodiment. Embodiment is awareness of own body or own materiality. And if you want to remember this, or if this is confusing, you know the phrase, I'm having an out-of-body experience, where you feel like you're not really there and you don't understand what's happening to you. You can think about that as your insula not functioning at optimal capacity, because the insula is responsible for the opposite of that, where you literally can be very present and you can feel physically grounded, right? And so the first thing that is really important in Holzel's study is that different areas of the brain are responsible for different processes and for different responses. So as I was talking about the hippocampus, without the hippocampus working on memory processing, the amygdala, which works in relationship to the hippocampus, would also not be able to fully process emotion, right? So specializations of different functions exist, and then different parts of the brain that perform different functions also talk to each other to enable each other to perform better. That's the important takeaway. And remember that in this particular study, Holzel and her colleagues were trying to determine how mindfulness impacts brain structures. And they would not have been able to do that if they weren't able to isolate what the different functions are of different brain structures. Which then brings you to the next thing that we've been referring to over and over again. But what exactly is mindfulness? It's actually something that I would recommend for all students. I try to practice it myself. It really helps you focus, it helps you calm down, it helps you pay attention more. Now, these are my opinions. Let's come back to the study. Britta Holzel, who is the key researcher in this study, actually practiced mindfulness as a young person traveling through India and traveling through Thailand. And that's where she became really interested in how it was helping her. And through this study, she actually proves that it has physiological impact as a way of providing or adding to an existing body of evidence about the benefits of mindfulness. Now, what is mindfulness? It is awareness of what is happening around you at the present time. It's about being completely in touch with the person inside, or what we call the inner self, as you exist in the outside world. But importantly, it involves not judging your feelings, not trying to take action on whatever thoughts and feelings that you have noticed. It also really uses a lot of deep breathing to build awareness of how one's body is feeling in a given environment or a given context. If you want to understand better how mindfulness feels, what you could do is, when you brush your teeth, pay attention to how it feels when you're cleaning your teeth and what the toothpaste feels like and the sound of the water. If you haven't turned it off in the sink, think about, the smell of the toothpaste, think about the taste of the toothpaste, think about how your teeth feel right after you clean them. It's literally about your 5 senses, because that's what bodily awareness is. It's a very sensory piece of our awareness, but then that's accompanied by our internal mental life, how we think about the world, what sort of feelings and thoughts we're processing right up here. And so it's a really great way of us connecting what's inside to what's outside. So mindfulness is something that was obviously central to this particular research study, but then there was one more piece which is related to mindfulness, and that was mindfulness-based stress reduction. So as I was mentioning to you just now, when I practice mindfulness, I feel like it calms me down, right? So when we're talking about MBSR, in the context of this study, MBSR is a course that was developed by a particular researcher back in 1990. And we'll talk about that a little more in detail. But essentially, MBSR is a scientific approach to mindfulness where the Buddhist meditation technique is combined with what science tells us in terms of repetitions, in terms of duration. And it has been proven to show that it has been proven to have positive effects on our mental health, on our well-being, because it reduces the symptoms of anxiety, it reduces symptoms of depression. It has shown to reduce symptoms of eating disorders, symptoms of chronic pain, and even symptoms of substance abuse. And why? Because it allows individuals to become more aware and more conscious of their thoughts and feelings, but without judgment, and that removes shame and other negative feelings from the equation, and it helps people to feel calmer and less stressed out. And so that was MBSR. So a combination of 3 things really form the psychology being investigated in this study, where it is, I will just sum up for you. Number 1, localization of function, where we understand that specific regions of the brain, specific structures in the brain are responsible for specific functions that we perform. The second piece is that mindfulness practice itself as a whole is very helpful, and what it is essentially becoming more aware of our inner self in relation to the present moment environment around us. And the third thing is mindfulness Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, which was essentially using mindfulness for the specific purpose of reducing stress because it reduces judgment while building more conscious self-awareness, while building intentionality. And when you are able to use intentionality in your decision making without judgment, without shame, without negative emotion, you will end up making better decisions. So these are the three key pieces of the psychology that was being investigated in this exploratory longitudinal design research study.
Hey there! If you found this A-level psychology lesson helpful, why don't you head on over to altacademy.org where you can sign up for the full A-level psychology course. In addition to psychology, we offered 7 other A-level subjects. Thousands of students have already taken the leap. What are you waiting for? I want to see you there.